Welcome back, everybody. We've got Marcus Harris here ahead of Cal's Friday night visit to Wake Forest. We're going to go ahead and get started with Matt Moreno from Rivals. Go ahead, Matt.
Obviously, last time going into the bye, you guys were coming off the Florida State game and different feeling this time around. How important was it to kind of go into it with some momentum, go into it with a win, and what did you guys get out of the bye week?
It was a key of ours to go into it with better energy. So I think it was definitely good to go into the bye week with that win. And then throughout the bye week, it was just about coming out stronger and faster than we were the week before. So I think that was a good thing that we did as well.
There's been a ton of emphasis on, third and fourth down, and there's been some moments when you guys haven't played your best, but this last game you guys were pretty dominant, especially on third down. What's been the key in those moments for you guys?
Just putting more emphasis on the importance of third and fourth down was a huge thing, and repping it more and more in practice, and then just trusting our training and technique.
We'll go to Jeff Corrado from Cal Bears on SI.
Marcus, last year before you got here, the Cal defense wasn't up to its usual expectation. Can you just talk about how encouraged you are by the way the team's played most of this season and kind of where you think you can get better still?
I think we've played well. Obviously, places that we can improve on, just minor things, like getting off the field consistently more on third down. We take the ball away pretty well, so I think that's a good thing. What was the second part of your question? I'm sorry.
Just, what the feeling is going forward and how you can improve still.
I think getting off the field on third down, like I said, is a way that we can improve, and obviously just forcing more turnovers and getting our offense the ball back is a huge emphasis.
Thank you.
Go to Steve Croner from the SF Chronicle.
Hey, Marcus, we're talking about Wake Forest and the slow mesh offense. What problems does that pose for a defensive back, and what possibilities might it create for a defensive back?
I think if you're not disciplined with your eyes, it could cause a lot of problems. We're in an older group, so I think that we'll be disciplined with our eyes, like we've been training all week, and being able to stop that. So I think just having disciplined eyes could help eliminate some of the confusion with the slow mesh.
Fair enough.
Any more questions for Marcus? We'll go back to Matt.
What was it like seeing Craig get his first interception last week or a couple weeks ago? Obviously, I know there's kind of that competition between you guys in the secondary. He does a lot, but what was it like to kind of see him get an interception?
It was a great feeling. It was almost like we as a group got an interception when Craig got the interception. So it was definitely a great feeling across the whole board. And me being right there, I was just hoping he got his feet in. So it was a good feeling for sure.
For you, obviously, there's an adjustment when you're coming over and playing with a new team, playing around some new teammates. At this point in the season, how do you feel like you've developed as a player, and how do you feel like you maybe kind of fit into this defense and found your role with this defense?
I think that I've done a good job just gelling with the guys. Just obviously, this wasn't my first time transferring, so I think just getting to know people in the other team was pretty easy. And then the scheme itself it's pretty. We do a lot, but it's pretty self-explanatory once you get into it. So I think it's been a pretty good transition.
We'll go back to Steve.
Yeah, Marcus, you mentioned I could kind of get the sense of how excited you were and the rest of the guys on defense were for Craig to get that interception. He's been in the program for 6 years. First, when you just hear that, what goes through your mind, and how much is he a coach on the field for the rest of you guys?
When I hear 6 years, I just think of myself. I've been in college for 6 years as well, just not with the same team. But it's a credit to the Cal program for keeping him here because he's a great player. And the transfer nowadays is crazy. So, it's a test to the Cal program for sure. And then on the field, he's the leader. He's the voice. Him and Miles are the voice, but them both being here for 6 years and knowing the scheme through in and throughout. So I think they're great quarterbacks on the field when you have two people who can do the same thing.
Thank you, sir.
Any more questions for Marcus? We'll go back to Jeff.
Yeah, Marcus, obviously you guys came into the season with big goals, and then you lose 4 in a row, 4 difficult, close games. And then you turn around and you take apart Oregon State pretty well. How do you adjust your goals going forward? And what are they at this point? And do you feel like this Friday is a big game toward getting where you want to be?
I think every week is a big game to get on where we want to be for sure. So this week is no different than the other. And obviously, like, our goals were altered a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's still to just go 1-0 every week.
And a bowl game's out there still, obviously. Do you look at this game as a huge stepping stone toward that?
I do look at it as a huge stepping stone for sure. Because in order to get to a bowl game, you gotta win games. I think winning this next one will get us that one step closer. So I think every step is a big step for sure.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got Jaivian Thomas here ahead of Cal's Friday night game at Wake Forest. We'll go to Matt Moreno from Rivals with the first question.
I know you guys put out the video about that play, about the big play, but can you walk us through it again? And just kind of what were your thoughts after you saw that it worked and saw that, Fernando was celebrating? And once he got back to the sideline, what was that like?
Yeah, so when the play started, I tried to get my chip, help the tackle out, got out to my route. Fernando threw me the ball. As soon as I turned my head around, it was a linebacker in my face. So I was once he made contact with me, I was trying to step out the tackle. But as I turned around, I seen Fernando right there, and he said, pitch it. So I pitched it to him. But as soon as I pitched it to him, everybody just kind of piled on top of me. So all I seen was dark. And then I heard like mild reaction. So I wasn't sure if it was going the opposite way or if we scored. So when I got up, I was kind of nervous. Then I seen Fernando in the end zone. I was like, yeah, that's crazy.
What's been the reaction from friends, family, former coaches? Do you have coaches saying like, hey, don't ever do that again? Or what's kind of been the reaction from people you've heard from?
Yeah, so the coach's standpoint, all they said was, if you're going to do something different, you better be right. Because if I wasn't right, it would have been bad. But from family and friends, they just wanted to know what I was thinking in the situation.
Then Jeff Grotto from Cal Bears on SI.
Jaivian, can you talk a little bit about sort of how confidence in Fernando as your quarterback has perhaps grown this year among the offensive guys? And, how sure are you now that he's the guy and he's delivering for you guys?
Yeah, the thing about Fernando is he is a real leader. He's vocal. He makes sure not only himself, but everybody on the offense is up to date with things. He's probably the last person to leave the building from the player standpoint every day. So he's a football junkie.
And are you amazed that whenever he's in front of a microphone and he mentions all of his offensive linemen by name, and is that just part of his sort of outgoing leadership style?
Yeah, it's just how Fernando is. He break down the whole story if you have to.
Thanks, Jaivian.
Yeah.
More questions? We'll go to Steve Croner from the SF Chronicle.
Yeah, Jaivian, I know everybody wants to play and you've gotten your reps and done well. How much does it help you to have Jaden back in the mix?
Personally, in my opinion, I feel having both me and Jaden in the same game, we haven't played too many games together. I feel like that's something that can bring more to the offense, especially with us being fresh, mixing it in drive by drive and stuff like that. I feel like that's something that can help the offense in a huge way.
Thank you, sir.
Go back to Matt.
You guys have had some big scoring games at times this season, but to have one that looked as dominant as that game against Oregon State, was that needed for you guys just to kind of see it play out to kind of build things for the rest of the season?
Yeah, for sure. In the middle of the season, it hasn't been the best for us. And I feel that last game we just had going into the bye week, I feel like it brought more energy out and helped us get more confidence going into these next final games.